Hello and welcome to your postnatal first 8 breathography breath cycle. This breath cycle is unique to the first year after giving birth. There are many reasons for the specificity of this breath cycle. We're working on pelvic floor strength, stability, release, also mobility, posture. We're focusing on releasing the pelvic floor and also engaging the pelvic floor at various points in the breath cycle. Now, this begins with our zip up activation, which we learned in the last video. Layering onto that, we're going to learn an engaged inhale, an engaged exhale, and we're going to differentiate between the two and also a released inhale. So we have three new components to our postnatal first 8 breath cycle: the engaged inhale, the engaged exhale, and the released inhale. Now, on the released inhale, you are releasing the pelvic floor, you're releasing the abdominal wall, feeling that ab ribbon gently tighten as you perform your released inhale. Now, in the engaged exhale and the engaged inhale, you are actually keeping the pelvic floor lifted and you're keeping the core a little bit braced. There's a couple of purposes for that, because this is our foundational breath cycle that we are going to use the entire 52 weeks after giving birth. And you're going to rely on this breath cycle as your foundation for all of your workouts. So that engaged inhale is going to help you brace and keep your spine supported. And that released inhale is going to give you recovery and also give you that connection to your pelvic floor and releasing the pelvic floor in between every single one of the exercises. So beginning with our 6 count zip up activation. Now, this is very specific to the first workouts after giving birth, in which we do a 6 count zip up activation. And just take note that we will move to a 5 count zip up activation pretty soon, within weeks, within months, whenever you're ready to transition to that next faster zip up activation, then you will move there at that point. For now, we're going to continue focusing on this 6 count zip up activation so that we spend more time focused on separating and isolating the various movements of the pelvic floor for generating and really reinforcing that mind-body connection with the pelvic floor on its contraction and on its release. I find that's very important right after giving birth, and just taking the time to set yourself up for success. And that reinforcing and practicing those patterns daily, that's going to help to increase the activation of your pelvic floor and also improve the strength of your pelvic floor over time. Okay? So after we perform our zip up activation, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 is ribs pressing back against the wall, 5 and 6. We are pretty darn engaged at this point. So we're going to take 2 sniffs of air through the nostrils with those muscles lifted and engaged that you just activated in your 6 count zip up activation. So we're going to go 1, 2. So it's like you're breathing into a slightly taut cylinder. 1, 2. And now we go into our 8-second exhalation pattern. 2 beats on a blow, 2 beats on a hiss, 2 beats on a soft shish, 2 beats on a loud shish. This is our engaged exhale. And this is something that we rely on in all of the HYPOXIX workouts. 8 seconds calms the nervous system and gets you very engaged in the core. And so what you're going to focus on here is when you take that engaged inhale. 1, 2. You're a little bit tight on the ribbon. Now, on the blow, if you're draining air, you're staying braced. You're still a little tight on the ribbon. On the hiss, you're still a little tight on the ribbon, but it's starting to loosen a little. On the soft shish, you're a little bit looser. And on the loud shish, this is the loosest that your ribbon has become. Now, loosen your ribbon as much as you need to at first, because a couple days after birth, you're not going to have a lot of connection, or a couple weeks after birth, a lot of connection with these transversus abdominal muscles that loosen the ribbon around the waist. So at first, just visualizing that you're loosening the ribbon, that's great, and making sure the ribbon is loose enough so that it's not causing discomfort and it's not distracting, but it's just tight enough to give you just a little bit of feedback, a little proprioception as to what the core is doing in space, which can be very helpful postnatally, because it can be difficult to feel these muscles without the extra tactile feedback of, pressing your posture points back against a wall or sitting on a chair so you can feel the reduction in pressure between the pelvic floor and the chair, or using the ab ribbon to get that, get that transversus abdominis contraction. Okay. So 8-second exhale, again, 2 seconds on a blow, 2 seconds on a hiss, 2 seconds soft shish, 2 seconds loud shish, and that's intended to be on one continuous exhalation. If you need to take little sips of inhales at first, totally fine. Just know that you're working up to a place where you perform the entire 8-second exhalation pattern on one continuous exhale. So after our 8-second exhalation pattern, we're taking 4 inhales in a row through the nostrils, tiny sips of inhales, where 2 are engaged inhales and 2 are released inhales. So it looks like this. Engaged inhales, 1, 2. Now everything releases, 1, 2. And then from there, we go right back into our zip-up activation. That is your first 8 breath cycle. 6 count zip-up activation. Double engaged inhale, 8-second engaged exhale, 2 engaged inhales, 2 released inhales. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And again, you may not be able to work continuously without taking a break at first, but as your carbon dioxide tolerance improves, and also as your diaphragm, your deep breathing muscles improve in their mobility and their stability and their endurance, and all of your core muscles, you are going to be able to get that 8-second exhale and those 4 inhales and go right back into your zip-up activation. For the first workouts after you give birth, this is your breath cycle. 6 count zip-up activation, double engaged inhale, 8-second exhale, double engaged inhale, double released inhale. Let's practice nice and slow, even slower than it's going to be in the workouts. Take an inhale, release, feel that pelvic floor release into the chair, and let's take our 6 count zip up activation and a hiss. Hiss 1, lift 2, sneeble 3, ribs 4, shoulders 5, head 6, double engaged inhale 1, 2, 8-second engaged exhale, blow. Continuously lifting the pelvic floor, hiss. 2 engaged inhales, 1, 2, 2 released inhales, 2, and release. So hard, I know. If this is all that you work on for the first few workouts after you give birth, wonderful, wonderful. And know that the first couple of weeks, we are only working on the pelvic floor contraction, because going into this zip up activation and the whole postnatal first 8 breath cycle would be too aggressive immediately after giving birth, right? So when I say that this is the early breathography breath cycle for the first 8, just know that these are coming after your isolated pelvic floor movements while you're nursing your baby. Okay, so let's take it again all the way through the breath cycle, and then we'll take a break. Here we go. Inhale. And hiss 1, lift 2, navel 3, ribs 4, shoulders 5, head 6, double engaged inhale 1, 2, 8-second exhale, blow. Double engaged inhale 1, 2, released 2. Whew. I know it's a lot of work, and it's very relaxing, right? Really nice to get that parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest, nice and upregulated. I know it's a stressful time, so you need these breathing routines. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to take 4 of these breath cycles in a row, trying it. If you can't get through it, it's fine. Keep on rinsing and repeating this video, this 4 times in a row until you can get 4 continuous breath cycles. When you can, then move on to the next video. Okay, so here we go. Inhale. And hiss, zip up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Double engaged inhale. 1, 2. 8-second exhale, blow. 2 engaged inhales. 1, 2. Released. 2. Zip up. 1, lift 2, navel 3, 4, 5, 6, double engaged inhale, 2, and 8-second exhale, blow. 2 engaged inhales, 2, released, 2, zip up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, double engaged inhale, 2, 2 engaged inhales, 2, released, 2, 6 count, zip up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, inhale, 1, 2, 2 engaged inhales, 2, released, 2, and you're finished, mama.